On my channel, I help you let go of your past limiting beliefs in order for you to create the life that you want and enter into a new version of yourself where you are consciously creating and in control of your mind and your life. I do this by applying ancient myths, allegories, and philosophical ideas on a very individual level to you. Now, today I will be talking about sexual intercourse, or more specifically, mental copulation, which pretty much means mental sexual intercourse. Now, as we know, when it comes to copulation, as a physical act, we know that it requires a male and a female. These two aspects come together to create what we would call a child. It takes those two forces to come together to create something of a little bit of the father and the mother. The child is a reflection of those two things. Now, when it comes to mental copulation, it is much the same, except we take these female and male aspects into different categories. Now, everything that is created in this world has those two aspects. It has a masculine and a feminine aspect, male and female, positive and negative. This is the seventh Hermetic principle, the law of gender. And if we look at this word gender, this is where the word creation comes from. We look at the word generator, which means to generate electricity or create electricity, or even genesis, which means to create or creation, the birth of something. So the gender simply means that. Two aspects that come together to create something. And this is what this means on a spiritual level. This just takes form in the physical sense, in which a female is the feminine aspect of creation, where male is the masculine aspect of creation as well. And they both come together to create the genders. When it comes to your mind, this is described as the conscious and the subconscious mind. So everything can be divided in yourself into those two categories, masculine and feminine. Usually when it comes to opposites, you can describe it like this as well. Left or right, up and down, light and dark, feminine, masculine, positive, negative. Now when it comes to yourself, the left side of your brain is masculine. The right side is feminine. Your conscious mind is masculine and your subconscious mind is feminine, and they all come together in perfect harmony. Now, where the act of sexual intercourse happens metaphorically in your own mind is when your conscious mind impresses your subconscious mind, or actively penetrating your subconscious mind. The subconscious mind, being feminine, is impressed by so many things, whether it's outside, whether it's social media, whether it's something said to you. It gets those impressions and then gives birth to those ideas, because it's someone else's idea that's allowed to impress your subconscious mind. If your conscious mind is not doing it to yourself, to your subconscious mind, it will happen outside of you. Or in other words, if you're not in control of your thoughts and your ideas, then your thoughts and your ideas and your beliefs will be controlled by somebody else, and you'll be a feather in the wind, blowing any which way the wind takes you. The reality is that we don't use the masculine part of our mind, our conscious mind. Our subconscious mind is allowed to go wherever it wants and get impressions from all around. In ancient myths sometimes, this is known as whoring around, in other words. Your subconscious mind is just going out and copulating with other ideas. And so those other ideas copulate with your subconscious mind and then give birth to different ideas and beliefs. And this is why this takes on the form of whoring around, because you can have a bunch of children, quote unquote, or offspring that you do not want. You don't know who the father is because your subconscious mind has been picking up so many ideas from the outside. This is why there's so much stigma regarding that, with women being very promiscuous. Now, in a spiritual sense, metaphorical sense, when it comes to your mind, this happens all the time with your subconscious, especially when we are very unconscious about what we're doing in our everyday life. Many times we don't know all of the ideas and beliefs that we have that come from other people because we're not aware. 5% of our day is conscious, 95% is subconscious. This means that the large majority of our day, we don't even know what is going on. We don't know what ideas go in and we don't know what goes out even. We may have a little bit of spark of our conscious mind trying to impress us, but this is overshadowed by the rest of the time that we're unconscious. So now that we've covered those points, your conscious mind is the masculine part. your subconscious mind is feminine. So what is not being used is your masculine part. You are not conscious enough. You're not impressing your subconscious mind. Now, in order to do this, we must become more conscious of what we are thinking. We have to be active in the thinking process, not just letting things go. We're not letting those impressions come into our mind anymore. We're now actively impressing our own mind and changing what we're actually thinking according to what we want. So let's say you want to have a more controlled, disciplined mind. You're not just letting somebody say something to you, insult you, and then allowing yourself to be overwhelmed with emotion. Because many times people do this, and they do this to manipulate you to get a reaction out of you. Some people thrive off of seeing you upset. Some people thrive off of seeing you jealous. Some people want your attention. And sometimes you know this, but you can't resist in just giving them and indulging them in what they want. So instead of this, becoming conscious means to act in a way where you want, not simply reacting to everyone and everything around you, not reacting to outside stimuli. Becoming conscious simply means making a choice every single moment in your life, a decision that you are actively choosing to behave and be a certain way. So if you want to be calm, if you want to be happy, if you want to be at peace, this is something that you are choosing to do. It is simply a decision where you say, I am choosing to be at peace. I am choosing to ignore this person. I am choosing to do XYZ, whatever it is. That is being conscious, and it's that simple. It is a lot easier to let things go. It is a lot easier to be unconscious and just let things happen to you because you don't have to think. You don't actually have to consciously do anything. But in the long run, it is better for you to be conscious and to direct your thoughts in the way you want them to go. Now your conscious mind is working. The masculine part is now impressing your subconscious mind. And then your subconscious mind will then give birth to the ideas you put in rather than what is impressed from the outside. This is described as two different ways in the Bible. One, when it describes as someone being very old. Abraham and Sarah were very old when they gave birth to their son Isaac. This symbolizes how we try to make things happen and we can feel like we have given up, where we have ideas and beliefs that we would wish for ourselves. Maybe you want to be a singer, maybe you want more money, maybe you want to be more successful, but you don't quite believe in yourself. And then those things just kind of get washed away and they're forgotten. They're barren, they get old, and they never come into fruition. This is what that represents, that oldness, feeling like you cannot give birth or you don't have any vitality left in you. This is described as in the feminine aspect as well. There is no hope for an old woman giving birth to a child. And there are many other examples. Abraham and Sarah draws the same parallel, where Sarah was very old when she gave birth to her son. And in the example of Abraham and Sarah, Abraham was 100 years old, and he asked God, can I really give birth to somebody in my age? Sarah was 90 years old, and she asked a similar question. This just represents what happens within all of us, where we go through life with our experiences, and we wonder, can I really do this thing that I want to do? Having all of my failures, having all of my past, having my identity, all of my ideas and my beliefs. All of these things stop you from proceeding forward, giving birth to the new ideas that you want for yourself, or your conscious mind copulating with your subconscious mind, creating a new way of being, in other words. This is why in ancient times, being barren or being unable to bear children was considered a bad thing. Your subconscious mind is unable to bear the child of your conscious mind. You cannot do it. Your conscious mind is infertile. It cannot copulate with your subconscious mind. And in essence, that's what that means. Your subconscious mind must be a fertile young woman, in other words. And even if it's not, if it's an old woman, the point of the story in the Bible of them being old is that even if it's old, it can still be done. Because it doesn't matter what you've been through. It doesn't matter what kind of trauma you've been through. It doesn't matter what ideas and beliefs you have that are holding you down. No matter what it is that you have going on. No matter if you're 100 years old, like Abraham says, you can still give birth to the promised child. To a child that will bring something good into your life. Or an idea and a belief that will help push you forward and create the life that you want. Now, I look at the Bible very spiritually, very symbolic. Now, if you look at it esoterically, there is a story in which a woman had a problem with having her period for 12 years straight. This is found in Mark chapter 5 and verse 25. So the story goes that this woman had her period for so long. She went to doctors and she spent so much money trying to heal herself, and she never got cured by anybody. So she believed one day in Jesus Christ because she had heard that this guy was healing people. And so she believed in him and went over there, and then she got healed of this problem she had. She simply touched his garment, and then her problem went away. What this means for you symbolically is the same idea regarding your subconscious mind. When a woman has her period, is in the middle of bleeding, she cannot copulate. She cannot give birth to anything. And that's all that means. Your subconscious mind cannot give birth to anything. It's constantly dropping blood all the time. So the cycle is that no man can have sexual intercourse with that woman and she can get pregnant. She cannot get pregnant until that issue is resolved. In the same way, your subconscious mind cannot become pregnant by your conscious mind unless that issue is resolved within you. That issue within you would look like you constantly doubting, constantly beating yourself up, or having any negative beliefs that bring you down. It can be as simple as I'm not good enough or I can't accomplish anything. These things take on the form of making your subconscious mind difficult to hang on to positive ideas that you can have for yourself. So your conscious mind and subconscious mind come together to give birth always. This is the principle of gender, and this is the way that sexual intercourse can be applied to your own mind. It is something that simply happens and describes creation itself. Plants copulate. Everything in nature reproduces and multiplies in this way. And the same process applies to your own mind. As above, so below. As below, so above. As within, so without. As without, so within. These outside principles can always be applied to yourself on a very deep level. All you gotta do is apply them to yourself. Masturbation is even something considered very evil as far as church goes. But as far as your mind goes, it simply means that you drop your ideas, stimulating your own subconscious mind. It has nothing to do with the physical act per se. It can just be reflected and applied to your mind as well. If you are trying to make something happen, but fail to impress your subconscious mind, you have wasted your seed and you have wasted your creative force. Even if you try to do it and you fail, this would be considered mental masturbation. And now what this means is that your conscious mind, the idea that you're trying to create is not emotionally charged enough to impress your subconscious mind. So in order for you to get your conscious mind to successfully impregnate your subconscious mind and then get into a mode where you are able to create the life you want, there has to be that emotional charge. The subconscious mind works a lot off of feeling. And if there is no feeling, no emotional charge, it is very difficult for your subconscious mind to hold on to something. This is why sometimes negative beliefs can be easier to hold on to, because there's that strong emotional charge and emotional investment. There must be that strong emotional charge with ideas that you want for yourself. And this is where meditation comes in and visualizing. You can't simply visualize something without having that emotional investment. But once you are able to meditate, visualize as if something was real, use your imagination the way it was intended to be used, then it becomes a tool that you can use. Your conscious mind becomes powerful in impressing your subconscious mind once you have that emotional side to it, where you feel like you're actually there and everything is real. You get to a point where you're able to meditate, visualize, and then the life that you live right now is simply a ramp or some kind of launch onto the next part of your life that you are able to visualize in your own mind. This is consciously using your mind and using it constructively and using both sides of your brain, conscious and subconscious, to be able to create. This is what mental copulation is. Imagining so vividly that you can feel everything, where you can taste it, and you're using all of your senses, all of your whole being in that experience that you're creating. You're 100% conscious. You feel it as though it was real. This is successful mental sexual intercourse, in other words. And so once this happens, that's when the magic happens. All of your ideas will become flesh. Or in other words, all of your ideas will become concrete reality. In Genesis chapter 2 and verse 24, it says, "Man shall leave his father and his mother, and cleave to his wife, and they shall become one flesh." That is your conscious mind and subconscious mind, when it comes to manifestation, come together and become one flesh. your ideas and your beliefs come together to become material things in this world. It all comes from your mind and then trickles down here into physical reality. And that is the secret of mental copulation. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave any comments in the comment section below. Like this video and subscribe for more content like this. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.